Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learn back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to be giving you my recap of the 2017 Game 2 NBA first round matchup between the Boston Celtics and the Chicago Bulls. Well, Boston got stunned tonight. Chicago dismantled Boston 111-97 from perhaps the middle of the second quarter on. Chicago looked like they had full control of this game. They had very good continuity on offense. Boston seemed a little bit out of sync offensively. They seemed to have the crowd in the game early. And Boston, I mean, they did whatever they could in terms of attempting to win this game, I'm sure. But it just seemed like they were just off tonight, especially on the shooting end. The starters were only 22 of 52 from the field. Isaiah Thomas led the way, 6 for 15 with 20 points. But that's not going to get it done. Obviously, if you're the leader in scoring in just 20 points. Now, I think what's happened is I think Chicago's size is what's really hurting the Boston Celtics in these first two games. Now, in this particular game, Chicago had 6 blocks. They had a little bit of a block party tonight, and it seemed like Boston was having trouble penetrating and getting in, making those shots when they're just running through, trying to get to the hoop, making layups, making those little short shots when they're running to the basket, and they just have not, they really have not looked in sync in these first two games. And you look at, in this particular game too, I noticed that it seemed like whenever Boston appeared to be making a little bit of a run, and they would get the crowd energized and seemingly back into this game, then Chicago would make a big shot. It just seemed like that was the theme of this game all night long. Now, as far as Chicago goes, I mean, Dwayne Wade had a very good game. He had 22 points. He had three three-pointers. And the Butler did it again. He had Jimmy Butler had 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. A very good all-around game. Jimmy Butler has looked really solid in this series so far in the first two games. Now, I'm not saying Chicago did anything, they overcame any great insurmountable odds by winning the first two games, but very close to it. You consider their number 8 seed, and they're taking on a number 1 team, and they won 2 consecutive games on the road, taking the first 2 games and going up in the series 2-0. It almost seems like this 2-0 deficit may be close to insurmountable for Boston. If they can't get their act together and make any improvements in this series, I mean, this could end in like 5 games maybe. I think Chicago's going to win one of the next 2 anyway, because you figure if they're good enough to win the first 2 games at Boston, they're surely in all likelihood going to win at least one of the next 2 games at home at Chicago. And really, what I think Dwayne Wade's experience has helped him. He has a lot of composure, and he does not get rattled or flustered. He just plays the game so well and doesn't allow anything to really distract him in this when he plays. And I think that really, he has been such an invaluable asset to the Chicago Bulls. And keep in mind, too, if I'm not mistaken, these 2 teams split the season series at 2 apiece. So it's like it was competitive in the regular season, but I think a lot of it has to do with Isaiah Thomas, I believe, is only 5'9", and I think he's just having trouble penetrating and getting to, as far as he can get to the rim, but trying to make the shot in the process and not getting and making the baskets, I think he's had a little difficulty in doing so. And I think the size and the height, the stature of the Bulls is what's really been to Boston's detriment in these first 2 games. Chicago out-rebounded Boston in this game, 43-38, and they just seem to be a little bit more aggressive on the boards in that game, and just in general, they really Chicago has just come in and they have imposed their will on Boston in these first two games, and if Boston can't make the adjustments for Game 3, this could end in 4 games. I think Boston's going to win one of the next two, but I don't think they're going to win both of them. I think Chicago will get one of them. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude my recap of Game 2 of the 2017 first round matchup between the Boston Celtics and Chicago Bulls. And until next time, people, Edwin Leonard saying, stay well.